For decades, when we've thought about advanced alien civilizations, we really only had one way to measure them: how much energy they control. But what if that's completely the wrong way to look at it? I mean, it's kind of like measuring a genius by how many calories they eat. Today, we're diving into a radical new ruler for the cosmos, one that doesn't measure power, but consciousness itself.
So let's just get right to the heart of it with this one question. Is a civilization truly great just because it can build a sphere around a star and soak up all its energy? Or is there a different kind of greatness, a deeper maturity, that comes from a system's ability to actually know itself and its place in the universe?
Okay, so here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll look at that old cosmic ruler we all know and love. Then we'll introduce this completely new map of the mind. We're going to break down its 5 key dimensions, put it head-to-head with the old model, and then, at the end, we'll zoom out and explore what this all could mean for, well, everything.
Right, so let's start on familiar ground. For more than half a century, our entire way of thinking about civilizations out there in the cosmos has been shaped by one single, powerful idea.
And that idea is, of course, the Kardashev Scale. It's super straightforward, right? It's a ladder. A Type 1 civilization gets control of all the energy on its home planet. A Type 2 steps it up and harnesses its entire star, with a Dyson sphere or something. And the big one, Type 3, well, they've got an entire galaxy's worth of power on tap. It's all about brute force.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. This is the core problem. The Kardashev Scale is kind of blind. To it, a destructive, star-eating empire is basically the same as a galaxy-spanning superconsciousness, just as long as they burn the same amount of energy. It only measures consumption. It has nothing to say about complexity or wisdom or self-awareness. And that is exactly where this new framework comes into the picture. It's called Awareness Continuum Mapping, or ACM for short, and it's a fundamental shift in how we might measure advancement. And this, right here, is the absolute key. ACM doesn't really care about the raw power a system is using. It's built to measure the richness, the depth, and the structure of its awareness. It asks totally different questions like, how does the system actually know what it knows? How does it understand itself?
So what we're talking about here is a total pivot. We're moving away from magnitude and towards maturity. We're no longer asking, how big and powerful is it? The new question is, how aware and coherent is it? It's a shift from trying to measure a civilization's muscles to trying to measure its mind.
Okay, so that sounds great, but how does it actually work? I mean, how on earth do you put a number on something as abstract as awareness? Well, the whole idea is to break that fuzzy concept down into 5 things you can measure.
It's called the awareness vector, and the theory is that any system, doesn't matter if it's a human brain, a complex AI, or some alien hive mind, can be described using these 5 dimensions. You look at its integration, its sensitivity, its adaptivity, its coherence, and then there's that last one, the most important piece of this whole puzzle, reflectivity.
Yeah, let's zoom in on reflectivity, because this is the real game changer. It's not just about being aware of the world. It's about being aware of your own awareness. It's that ability to turn your focus inward, to hold that self-gaze, and to actively try and make sense of your own thoughts, to literally reduce your own internal uncertainty. And get this, the source material actually proposes a way to calculate it. It says that really high reflectivity emerges when 2 things happen at once. First, you need that stable, looping self-reference, a thought thinking about itself thinking. And second, you need a process that's constantly working to clear up your own mental fog. That combination, it suggests, is the engine of higher consciousness.
And here's where it gets even cooler. Consciousness isn't a straight line. It loops back on itself. It's recursive. A simple ladder like the Kardashev scale just can't map that. It's like trying to measure a winding road with a stiff, flat ruler. It just doesn't work. So ACM needs a totally different kind of math, a curved geometry, to properly trace the twisting, looping paths of a conscious mind. So, now that we have all those pieces, let's do a direct comparison. Let's put the old energy paradigm right next to this new informational one and see just how dramatic the difference is.
This chart lays it all out pretty clearly. The goal itself shifts from magnitude to maturity. The unit of measurement isn't watts of energy anymore, it's R, the score for reflectivity. The shape of the map goes from a simple straight ladder to a complex curved space. And, most importantly, self-awareness goes from being completely ignored to being the star of the show, the very thing you're trying to quantify.
And the upshot of all this is, well, it's pretty profound.
What you end up with is a single, unified framework for comparing all minds. For the first time, we have a way, at least in theory, to put a human brain, a powerful AI, and even something like a plant signaling network all on the very same map.
And these example values here really make it tangible. Just look at the scores. A model of the human cortex scores high pretty much across the board, and especially in that crucial reflectivity column. An adaptive AI, it might be off the charts adaptive, but maybe a little lower on sensitivity and reflectivity. Then you look at a plant network, it shows high coherence, but that self-awareness factor is way, way down. You can just see how different profiles of consciousness would emerge.
So this brings us to our final section, where we can pull the camera all the way back and look at the truly mind-bending places this way of thinking can take us.
The really grand vision for a framework like ACM is that it might be hinting at something much deeper than just a new measurement tool. It suggests that maybe some of the biggest mysteries in science, gravity, life, consciousness, aren't actually separate problems we need to solve. What if they're all just different expressions of a single underlying law of information and coherence?
And if that's the case, then it completely redefines what we mean by progress. True advancement isn't building bigger ships or colonizing more planets. It's an inward turn. It's a grand journey from simply manipulating the physical world to deeply understanding and sustaining the conscious experience within it.
And this leads to maybe the most poetic and profound idea in the whole framework. The pinnacle of civilization, the ultimate goal, isn't to become a cosmic powerhouse that can light up the galaxy. It's to achieve a state of awareness so deep, so complete, that you become the vessel through which the universe itself becomes aware of its own beauty. Which, of course, leaves us with one last, very personal question. If this is the new map for measuring maturity and intelligence in the universe, where are we on it? And maybe more importantly, which direction are we heading?